That's interesting.
Hey kids, we're live at the Secret Stash with Mike, Julia, and Christian. It's a hella bash. Tune in and check out the podcast. We got the nerd button on repeat and we're gonna smash. Come on in, I can show you that we're open. Shoe polish on our signs cause our locks are always broken. You need that view askew? You know we got you, dude. Showing gratitude and always smiling, never rude. Top 5 movie reviews and what's new. We bringing out the big guns when we coming through. Welcome to the stage. Come on, enjoy the dance. Hurry up, don't come and last. You know we love it, the sacred stash. Welcome to the stage. Come on, enjoy the dance.
Mike, we're live.
What? Say that again, Christian, because I couldn't hear you.
We are live.
Good deal. We're a minute late, but I only got like 15 complaints, so that's fine. That's
only
okay.
15. It's not
only
16.
15. Yeah, thank
Good
God.
morning, gentlemen. Are we streaming on Michael's fan page?
Yes, we are.
Excellent.
We're streaming
Hold on.
everywhere. The usual spots.
Where is it?
You have to be on. You got to get on that microphone, love.
Okay.
There you go.
Good morning, everybody.
Well, hello, Christian. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Excellent. Thank
How's everybody
you.
doing this morning?
Yeah. How are you, Jules?
So far, so good. I woke
Excellent.
up on the right side of the dirt.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
if this is your very first time tuning into the show, my name is Michael Zapsik. This is Christian Cortez, and right next to me is the ever beautiful Julia Zapsik. So, and we are live from the Secret Stash. We're here to give you your dose of pop culture, all things View Askew, and comic book related
Goodness.
crap. So, again,
Crap or goodness?
And crap and goodness.
You could take your
Why does it
pick.
have to be either or? Why can't it be both?
Okay.
So, yes.
That's why I said you could take your pick or both.
Yeah.
So what's going on this week, guys? What are we jumping right into?
What should we let's talk about it's not an elephant in the room. It's Clerks 3. Clerks 3 last week they had a premiere.
I'm sorry. I know this is terrible.
What? Then say something.
My brain is on fire. Only because Christian had mentioned that.
Well,
he
why don't
wanted
you talk
to,
into the microphone? Because that would be
because
good.
Christian had mentioned that he wanted to make a comment about comments. At the
Yeah,
start
let's.
of the, yeah.
So let's.
Is that on now? Good.
Yeah, let's make something clear. So we had seen a comment last week in terms of somebody didn't get their comment seen. We use a site called StreamYard to stream out our show, and sometimes not all the comments will come through from every single platform. The best way to get your comment seen is to comment on the Jay and Silent Bob page stream, or possibly YouTube.
On Facebook?
On Facebook. It's the best way to do it. So
Or we might just ignore all of you completely.
Yeah.
As pretty much a fuck you to that one guy who was commenting.
Yeah.
Because
He
I will
actually-
cut off my nose to spite my face. I've done it, folks.
But yeah, no, the best place to do it is to comment on the Facebook feed. Sometimes it doesn't come through from certain YouTube channels or even other certain Facebook pages. So best place to do it is to comment from Jay and Silent Bob's or mine or Mike's public page. So, but yeah.
Ooh, we've got U.S. Comics Company. I've been on their podcast. They are awesome. We've got... Let's give shout outs to everybody so far.
Except that guy from last
David
week.
Clark, yeah. What was his name? We're not going to mention it because he doesn't deserve it. Michael Nettles, yes. I also can't wait to see Clerks 3
I cannot.
again.
Yeah.
I'm not. Membership has its privileges, buddy. Sorry about that. I saw a rough cut. We actually saw a rough cut about, what was that, about 8 months ago?
Roughly.
Roughly 8 months. Well, there's a rough cut roughly 8 months ago. That's awesome.
I knew you were gonna make the connection.
And Nicholas Power from Krypton Toys and Comics. Krypton Toys and
Krypton Toys and Collectibles in beautiful BC.
Oh wow! Before Christ, nice, love it.
British
You're streaming through time, buddy.
Before Christville?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Holy crap!
So he's in the realm of Bedrock.
He's actually no. Did you ever hear that fan theory that the Flintstones is actually in the future?
A post-apocalyptic
It is
future?
post-apocalyptic, and George Jetson lives above the clouds.
Yes.
Those clouds are radioactive waste, and underneath is the Flintstones.
I've heard this theory.
This
and
is a great theory.
and
I
I'm-
love this theory.
I do too, because there's a little bit more validity to it than you think. There was actually a crossover special in the 90s
I remember that. It was awful.
where it's a terrible special, but I also like the idea that it wasn't a time machine that took them into the past. It was just a teleportation thing
Okay, there
that
you
just
go.
brought them to the ground.
Right. Yeah. Just then. That's exactly it. So Spacely or Coswell's Cogs, or it was Spacely Sprockets.
Spacely Sprockets.
They were being dug up by what was it? What did Fred work for? Mr. Slate.
Slate's gravel
Slate's
company?
gravel company,
Something
yeah.
like that?
Yeah. So all those cogs were made out of gravel. Slate's gravel. So Mr. Slate.
Oh my god.
Spacely.
I loved those shows growing up. Flintstones, I think, was probably like one of my favorite Hanna-Barbera shows.
Me too. I was not a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, except for the Scooby-Doo Adventures, where they would have mysteries with special guests.
Yeah, new Scooby-Doo Adventures.
Yeah.
I've always been a Scooby-Doo fan, so
Okay.
I appreciate the old show. But I always loved it was still cartoony, but Flintstones felt like there was definitely more of a weirdly mature aspect of that show.
There absolutely was.
Because it was for prime time.
Yeah,
so
it was like their version of The Simpsons back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Where, your parents are sitting there smoking right in front of you, blowing smoke in your face, like, come here, get an earache. There you go.
And then you learn years later that it's Gleason, Jackie Gleason.
Yeah, that's pretty much
They
it.
ripped you off and made this show.
Yeah. They absolutely did. And you're like, and you never knew what Barney did. They're like, let's be as vague as possible. And
100%.
why wouldn't he be in the sewers? I would put Barney in the sewer.
In the sewer?
Yeah,
Did they
because
have
Ed Norton
sewers?
was in the sewer.
Yeah, did they have sewers?
Yeah, they had sewers. They had to have sewers. Well, I mean,
I was excited
Oh,
when Michael
man.
opened the previews the other day, and they had Kimba and Marine Boy, which I don't know if you remember. I mean, that's way, way, way. I mean,
no,
unless
it
you've
wasn't.
seen
Honey, it
some
wasn't
old-
previews. It was Toy Ventures.
Toy Ventures.
Toy Ventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, not previews. So.
Okay, my regrets.
No,
Previews
because
is awesome.
no.
Previews
I'm
is-
just saying
Toy
it because
Ventures, yeah.
I'm saying it because people
People
are
are gonna
going to be
run
out
to
there.
previews
No,
and
they're
they're
going to be
gonna
like,
be looking for
where
it,
can?
yeah.
Well, previews you can order stuff.
Oh, okay.
Toy Ventures, it's like, hey, this is what came out like 100 years ago, and previews is like,
So
this is
they're
what's
not gonna
coming out in
bring
2
back
months.
Marine Boy and
No,
Kimba?
no one's bringing back Marine Boy.
U.S. Comics Company just left a great comment. Scooby-Doo guest starring Batman or the Harlem Globetrotters. Fire. I would-
Batman. Oh, it's Batman. Always Batman. Mainly because I was a comic book kid. They never really got you could never get the true gristle of the Harlem Globetrotters because they only had like 5 of them. And there were more than 5 Harlem
Oh, yeah.
Globetrotters. There were like 10,000 of them.
Yeah, as long as it features Curly in that central.
True, but it's like when they teamed up with the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
You had Curly Joe, and you're like, he is the least of the Stooges.
Okay.
If you're gonna have a Stooge, I mean, granted, the original Curly was long dead by that time, so you can't really. But you can find his grandson or something and have him do it, have him ape it, instead of the dude that was in the Abbott and Costello walking around with the lollipop and dressing up like little Lord Fauntleroy, which was creepy as shit.
Good Lord.
I know, right?
But see, you know what? You're bringing. Scooby-Doo had also done a couple of things with Batman, too. Like, it wasn't just the initial Scooby-Doo movies.
No.
There was something recently that had Diedrich Bader return to play Batman.
Oh, Diedrich
And-
Bader, yes.
Yeah, Diedrich Bader, sorry.
That's
And
okay.
he was doing something in the vein of the new Scooby-Doo mysteries, but it was a straight-up Batman movie that just happened to have the Scooby-Doo characters in it.
Oh, that is so cool.
It's actually pretty awesome. I think Adam West voiced Batman in those episodes, actually. I think it was like if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. But I think it was Adam West.
Well, in Brave and the Bold, they did have the Scooby-Doo gang.
Yeah, they had an episode with them.
Yeah, with Weird Al Yankovic, oddly enough. So,
I like how he just shows up randomly
Yeah.
sometimes in cartoons playing
course.
himself.
yeah, I know. He's Weird Al Yankovic, for God's sake. So he's
no, for sure.
and he's got a book coming out that we're gonna have in his stash.
Oh, that's
so, yeah.
right. I remember you
yeah.
showing it to me.
So
That's
we
good,
we love Weird Al. I mean, he's like pop culture royalty.
Oh, 110%.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a Weird Al fan. I remember being shown beat it, and then my dad immediately showing me eat it, and being like, these two are equally great. It's okay. But I love Weird Al Yankovic. Someone actually convinced me recently I might go see him in concert next time he comes around.
Oh,
here.
you should. Oh, and hey, tell you what, let me know when it is, and maybe we'll join you.
School trip. Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be. At the risk of being ham-fisted, because we've got somebody waiting in the wings.
We do.
We do have a special guest, but we have top five. You want to hit the top five for me?
Sure, but it's actually, would it
Beautiful.
only be top one?
No, it's all going to be all five.
Okay, here we go.
This is a big one.
So big.
Top five! Top five! Top five! Yeah! Top five! Top five! Top five! Yeah! Top five!
I love that.
That is fantastic.
I love it so much.
So, today, our biggin. This is all five.
Ooh, I see a name on there I
This
already
is-
like.
You do. This is Fantastic Four Full Circle Slipcase Edition by Alex Ross. I've been waiting for this to come out for a while. And this is top five. This is all five. So this is amazing. It is. I'll show you this.
Fantastic Four featured on the top five.
Right. And
Only with the secret stash.
well, this and the book, the slipcase, and the Fantastic Four are the top five.
Yeah.
So
Oh
there
my
we go.
God, the artwork's amazing.
damn it.
It's Alex Ross.
It is.
It's true.
So you've got your little origin here in. This is so amazing. This is the dust cover. The dust jacket is.
That's just the dust cover?
That's the dust jacket, yes. And then you look inside here and you see Alex Ross's sketches and such. It's beautiful. This is all.
That's a sketch.
I know.
Jesus,
I
that's
know.
a whole ass art assignment for me
That
back
is.
in the day.
Are you kidding? That for me would have been like 7 years of labor. Oh my
God.
And it's got. You've got a Dagwood sandwich. Starts this whole thing off. And then
A Dagwood sandwich.
I swear to God.
I mean, like literally.
Literally, honey, when I say a Dagwood sandwich, he even says, I got all the fixings for a Dagwood sandwich
That's amazing.
in his rock hard stomach, which is really weird to say, but whatever. And
I mean, the thing.
he's
it
the thing.
makes sense.
Yeah, and he's saying it out loud just to
Just,
himself.
yeah, we don't
So-
say it out loud. He can say that out loud.
Exactly. And this is so Kirby-esque, and nobody did Cosmic like Kirby, except now we've got Alex Ross doing Cosmic like Kirby.
Yeah.
And John Byrne, in my opinion, was one of the best artists to carry on Jack's legacy.
So what is this story? And
The
is this
story
like
is-
this is new or is this like
This is brand spanky new.
okay? So this isn't a
and-
reprint of like an old
No.
story. This is a new
No,
Alex
this
Ross.
is a new Alex Ross. And he had me guessing here. There are a couple of things in here that I'm like, holy crap. You get to see Annihilus. Annihilus, the master of the negative zone. So the Fantastic Four go to the negative zone. And this is very reminiscent, and this is amazing, but very reminiscent of the old Third Eye posters that Marvel produced in the 70s. Very late 60s, early 70s, where they would take established artists. They would maybe take a panel that was really cool and just color it this way. I have a Silver Surfer.
See, I'm gonna take my education hat and turn it to learning mode. And I'm very sorry. So is the negative zone the same space as the Phantom Zone, or is this like a
No,
different?
it's
this
the
a very
Phantom,
different.
Phantom Zone is DC's number one. Well, number one is DC's, and the Phantom
Oh
Zone
my God, I'm
is
an idiot. It's Marvel.
No, that's okay.
Oh.
No. Hey,
DC.
This
I
is
always
why
get
we
confused.
ask. This is why we ask questions, so we learn, dumbass. So. That was from The Simpsons, folks. I'm not calling Christian a dumbass because Christian
It's
is
okay.
anything but. No, you
it
are
happens.
far from a dumbass.
DC and
but-
Marvel.
So,
It's early in the morning.
the
folks.
Phantom Zone is
don't
over
drink
there,
coffee.
and people are just immaterial in the Phantom Zone. However, in the negative zone,
Thank you.
matter becomes antimatter, and antimatter, the negative zone, becomes matter. So if you touch something in there without going through, they call it. Oh God, what do you got there, Reed? Reed calls this something cool, like the where are you, buddy? I need me my glasses.
Wow.
I also
Pretty
know
cool
why I
spread.
switched up the two now, because the last book that I read by Alex Ross was
The distortion area. That's what you have to go through, the distortion area, which messes with you on like an atomic level and makes the thing whoopsie.
because I just read Kingdom Come. That's
Right.
why. So when I
Okay.
hear Alex Ross, I was just like, yes, DC.
And what's
Automatically
really
the
funny, it says,
Fantastic Four.
"Get your crummy black light mitts off me," which is like
my
he's
God.
referencing what's going on here.
This
So,
artwork, people, like
it is. You
it's
have to see it to
beautiful.
believe it. And this is all it's
Alex
sketched and
goddamn Ross.
yeah, and this is he did
How long ago was this announced?
about 6 months ago, and he's at their version of Earth in the negative zone, which is really, really cool. And it actually references a story that happened. This man, this monster, and it expands upon it and does such an amazing job. This is, folks,
Beautiful
if you
book.
have, if
Do we
you
have
can,
one for CJ? CJ Robles is going to be here. He wants to pick one up on Sunday.
I will throw one aside. If you're going to be here on Sunday, I have like 5 of these. These are limited, especially the slipcase cover are very limited. This was printed. They only have 3,000 of the slipcase. And of course, 2 of them go to me and Sunday Jeff, which is
And
all
possibly
fine and
me.
good.
How much is this? book go
$40.
for? $40.
$40.
I'm buying all of them.
And you can get the regular, which is not slipcased, for $25. And I don't think they've got a ceiling on. You know,
How limited is the slipcase?
3,000.
3,000.
Yes.
And then that's it.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me the slipcase because that's
It's
that's
dope.
beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
is
a,
dope.
That's a great book.
It is fantastic. So.
All right, so we got someone waiting in the wings. You want to introduce this guest?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to.
Let's do it.
This is this gentleman is we started a partnership with him. He's his name is Joe Bodner of Bodner's Auctions. Now, sharp-eyed fans will know Joe from Comic Book Men, and we did a few episodes with Joe. The Gary Kahn. You remember Gary Kahn? Gary Kahn. Joe helped us raise money for Gary Conover. And we also, when Ming and I were married, he was, and appropriate that the Fantastic Four is my top 5, because Ming and I had to get married as Mr. Fantastic and Sue
Susan
Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
I remember that episode.
Thanks. I remember that episode too. I think I have to get that annulled, by the way.
And what did Joe do?
Joe was the auctioneer for that, because it was a competition between Walt and Brian and me and Ming as who can make the most money.
All right, let's bring him in.
Let's bring him in, Joe Bodner. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Bodner.
All right.
Welcome
Hey,
to
how
the
you doing?
welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
Good, very good. Thank you.
And Bodner's Auctions is our official. We have a partnership. If there's somebody that brings me books that are well above my means to buy, I send them out to Joe, because Joe will get you the best price possible, because he actually auctions stuff off, which is great.
Yes, I tried to do my best for you guys. Basically, we were auctions. We used to run them at the New Jersey Convention Expo for Edison, but now after COVID, here I am online. That's doing now online.
That's even better, Joe. I mean, you probably get even more people who I know you did it online for a while, or I'm sorry, you did it online in conjunction with having a physical place.
That is correct. So yes, hold on.
1 second, Joe.
Boy,
second,
we
bud.
had to put you on.
Hold on. I have to kick him, people. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there was some terrible. Someone was telling me in the comments that there was a terrible feedback loop. So hold on, guys. We're just gonna we're gonna see what's going on here.
We'll bring you back.
Yeah, there's something going on. I think Joe's gonna probably have to put on a pair of headphones. Joe, sorry about that, boss. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Better.
Let's see. People at home, let us know. Does that sound better? because we don't hear the echo.
Well, the guy's Michael Bass. I mean, Michael Bass is what it is.
Hey, listen. It could be on my end. I tried six different computers to get you up online. I'm not that tech savvy. I was doing it on my cell phone. I was like, oh, shoot. Plus, I got live cams for the auction today, so I couldn't use my regular computer.
Gotcha.
Can you hear me all right?
You're doing great. It said Nostalco. We got no
There
echo.
you go. We could auctioneer too. 20 gigabyte, 30 gigabyte, 40 gigabyte, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90.
Oh, God. There we go. And blah, 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 blah. So,
Exactly.
How about now, guys? Is there still something there? Well, anybody in the
oh,
comments?
no, there is still an echo. Someone says there is no echo, bad echo.
Okay, now. Someone said it's good now.
All right, good.
There we go.
Fantastic.
You sound dope.
Well, now we sound dope.
All right, we sound dope. We've never sounded dope. Don't
There we go.
lie. So anyway, Joe, tell us how somebody from Comic Book Men approached you.
Oh boy. So I guess that's a good question. How that all came to be. I believe Rob Bruce contacted me about doing a segment where you guys were going to come. So I think the first time you guys were on the show, you did the scavenger hunt, where then you had to get married to Ming, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah, he approached us on coming out. How did we feel about taping and having you guys come in and do a thing? And I was like all for it. I thought it would be a great idea. And you guys came out, and I thought it was definitely interesting. And you never know what you're going to find, and you never know what is going to make you the most money, because obviously things that you bought you thought were going to make you a fortune, and it didn't. And with other stuff, you get bigger buy. So you never know what something's going to bring.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, though. That is pretty damn awesome. Now I'm not going to mention names here because I don't even think the guy listens to us, but that's perfectly fine. I'm still not going to mention his name. I had contacted you because I had gotten a phone call about a guy who had to move from his place, but he needed to get rid of all of his toys. Let's talk about this one, Joe, because this was interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you a little, there's an addendum to this. So I get the call from a guy, and he's I want to, you have no idea what I have.
Okay.
And I'm like, no, I don't, because we're talking on the phone, and I don't have telescopic vision anymore. So he said, I went up to his place, and he had it was a 4-room, 4-room apartment.
Okay.
And every room had wall to ceiling boxes.
Yep.
Of just stuff that he had purchased. And this was relatively new stuff, right, Joe?
Yeah, no, it's mostly, I would say, within the past 15 years, 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but he went whole hog on this stuff because he bought 2 of almost everything.
Okay.
And I was wandering around, and he's like, I have to be out of here in 3 weeks. And I'm like, okay. I said, huh. And they're all still in their original boxes. And I'm like, if I start, and it's like a Jenga thing where if you pull one thing out,
It's all coming
you will
down.
die. Yes, exactly. You've got a tidal wave of cardboard.
You become one with the apartment.
Yes, exactly. Well,
And it was like a mystery tour, because that was almost like a storage war type situation where as you got in, you had no idea what was there. You didn't know if you were getting into $100 worth of stuff and a bunch of junk, or if you're getting tens of $1,000s worth of stuff and you didn't know what was there.
exactly.
Is this
And
the guy who had the altar set up to his?
yes, hold on. And
Oh,
hold on. No,
all right,
no,
all right. I'm just trying
hold
to
on, honey.
put myself-
You're getting ahead of that. I love you. You're getting that way ahead of me. I went there, and I was like astonished by this, but I also knew that there's no way that I could absorb this much product in that short amount of time. And I also know that this guy's looking for top dollar. And so the only conclusion that I came to, I'm sitting there looking at, was Joe Bodner's auctions. Like I said, we send people to Bodner's auctions, especially if you're local. You've done stuff for us, people as far out as Minnesota.
That's true.
Yes,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for that. And you've done us some big time favors, like Gary Conover. That was, I know it's great publicity, but you also have a heart. Your team is amazing. So
Well, thank you. No, we take a lot of pride in what we do, and we always want to do it right. We do a ton of research prior to the auction, and not even that, we're working with the auction. we're not going in there and trying to buy it as cheap as possible and sell it as much as possible. We're working together as a team, getting the most we can for the client, and we work on commission. So the bottom line is the more you make is the more we make, and we do everything we can to market it and get the most we possibly can out of that situation. With that hoarder house, what was interesting about that, you know, his toys did phenomenal. And even while I was there picking it up, if you could believe this, items were being shipped to his house from Amazon of more action figures as I'm picking up the other stuff. So
absolutely. I
yeah,
know.
so he was still in the thick of buying stuff, even though he had to get rid of stuff, you know.
Gotcha. And here's that's the hoarder mentality. But
I
here's the thing,
understand it.
and I have to throw this out there, Joe, because I know you saw this. He had set up one of the rooms was his mom's bedroom. She had passed away a couple of years before, but he had an altar set up to her, which creeped me the hell out because he's like, "Come on into my mom's room," and I'm like, "I'd rather not."
Come on in, Norman.
I'm like, and I'm looking for the boiled skull, and I'm not finding it, but I'm still.
Norman's a good boy.
Yeah, like, oh crap, and I'm like, that's when I called you, and I'm like, hi, I'm on the phone with somebody who knows my exact whereabouts, so we're good. And I'm glad he did well, but there was a postscript to this, and because he was a challenge. He was a challenging person.
Yes.
Because I got a phone call because I stupidly gave my cell phone out, which I never do, but I did in this particular case because I needed to see some stuff.
I worked for you for 6 months before I got your phone number, so I can attest to this.
I had to vet you, man. Yeah. But I got a phone call because he's trying to tell me that you were late sending a check, and I called him. He called me at midnight, and I'm like, and if anybody ever calls me and you're not in the hospital, and especially this guy, and you can ask my wife, you wake me up out of a sound sleep, I am cranky. I am very, very cranky.
No, that was the kind of guy he was. I think the check was in the mail, but it was only like one day.
I called the next day, and it turns out that he had gotten it, but he just didn't realize it was in a pile of mail because he was a fucking hoarder. Well,
he was a fucking hoarder. I mean, there's no question about it. There was stuff all over the place. Even after we took it, he wanted some stuff back. And I was like, listen, man, you can't take things back. It doesn't work that way. I came there, I helped you out, but every time you take something back, you're taking commission out of my pocket. I mean, and I've already done work at this point. So
right.
And he was problematic.
Yeah, but you got him, and I mean, you got him more than he paid. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. In that kind of situation, was he happy? Probably not. He always thinks his stuff is worth more, but that's okay. But it's it did extremely well. I think the big hidden treasure of that deal was there was 2 long boxes of comics there. You know, out of his whole big truck, I set a big truck out there. We took about, I'm going to say, 200 boxes of toys, 300 boxes of toys. It consumed 2 auctions. We actually had the first sale was 250 lots. The next sale was about 200 lots. So there was quite a bit there. But 2 long boxes of comics ended up bringing about $35,000 for him, and he still wasn't happy with that. And I said, "We didn't even know that it was there," you know.
Which kills me because that's what I went up for. I went up for the toys, but he said, I've got a couple of boxes of comics. We couldn't even find the comic books.
Right.
Because they were buried so deeply under, and this was this one room that everything was buried under.
Yeah,
and
it was falling everywhere.
I wanted to see his comic books, but no, I was not allowed to.
Right.
You got creeped out by Mom's room and was just like, I think I'm good digging.
Seriously, I don't need to use the stairs. I can go out the window, no problem.
But now, here's the only question that I have, because you said that a lot of his stuff was from the past 10, 15 years. And yes, I know there's a lot of collectible things that have been released.
Yes.
But I don't know of like any like real signature toy brands that like have anything that significant in the last 10 years.
Sideshow, Matty Collector.
Oh, those type of toys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking like collectors.
DC Select. Yeah, it was like DC Select and action figures, all mint on the card. A lot of Predator, Alien, horror type action figures mint on the card. Stuff like that. And that stuff does hold its value. Does it bring not necessarily does it bring what he paid for it, but there are limited edition runs, just like that book you're just talking about, where they make 3,000 of them. That's something that's going to be an investment and go up, and you put up an auction in another 5 to 10 years, it'll bring more than what you're actually retailing it for. So there are things out there that are only 5, 10, 15 years old that are bringing a fortune. And, that was a part of what was there. But yeah, some of the newer stuff is great. I mean, even Magic the Gathering. I mean, we had a Magic the Gathering collection a year and a half ago where I had a bunch of alpha and beta cards, and I didn't know what the stuff was. This is how I got an education on that. And we sold 200 cards, or actually 200 lots, there was a couple sets for, it was almost $750,000. So, I mean, it was unbelievable. But I got a big education on Magic the Gathering, and people would say, hey, baseball cards from the 50s are worth money, but even newer stuff, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, things that are only 20 years old are bringing a fortune in today's market.
I knew about the Pokemon cards as of recently, because that was not one of my things growing up, but I had friends who had vintage piles of cards, like lots of old school Pokemon cards, and walked away with a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Unbelievable. And people speculating on that kind of stuff. Like when we have a lot like that in the auction, I don't necessarily describe every single piece in there. We'll display like on a photograph, and people are looking at it. They're speculating, and they're banking they're going to get a card in there that's worth 200, 300, 500. But there's Pokemon cards now that just sold. They brought like 200,000. I mean, it's unbelievable when you think about it.
It is, because there's a gentleman here who comes in quite often. His son flew out to Vegas with his Pokemon collection and sold it for $700,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not going to give you I'm not giving you a discount anymore.
I collected the wrong stuff when I was a kid.
Yes, you did. So Joe, you have an auction going off today, correct?
Oh yeah, I do have a sale today. Today is geared more antiques and collectibles and things of that nature, but we do run the auctions every 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And our next comic book sale is on September 14th and 15th. Those are the 2 days. I got an action figure sale and a comic book sale coming up on those particular. September 14th is comics.
Okay, cool. So we'll grab a link and we'll put that in.
So can I ask a quick question, Joe? Do you mind giving like the 1 or 1.5 minute version? If someone works with an auction house, what's the experience like?
So basically what we would do is we would either come out to the house or people bring it to us. But generally, I would come out to the house, meet with the person, take a look at their collection, see exactly what's there, give them a thought process of what we do, and give them an estimate based upon what I think it would sell for. But with comic books, it's been difficult. I've been more giving the spiel that, listen, we take it, we go through it. I have a couple of experts that work with us. We go through every single comic. So if we get a collection and say there's 20,000 comics, 50,000 comics, we bring it in. My main man, Darren, and I and Erica, we all sit down together. We go through each one. First, we categorize it by Batman, Superman, etc. Also by Golden Age, Silver Age, or what have you. Put it all together. Then we look for actual issues that are key issues that might have first appearances or what have you with that. And then we try to put together lots that are going to generate about $100 or above in each single lot. And then once we do that, we put a catalog together where we take each item. We do a full description of everything that's in that particular lot. We do photographs of each lot, so you can, when you look online, you can see everything that's in that particular lot. We do some thought processes of condition, because obviously condition makes a big difference. We don't generally get things graded, but if you have a book that's going to be, say, 10,000 or above, I would recommend possibly getting it graded. But sometimes, I'm more of a purist. I'd rather sell it fresh like it is and let people speculate on what the book might grade out, because people are gambling on that as well. And obviously, if you get a book that's a 6th grade, it's going to bring maybe 5,000, but if it comes out at a 10, it could be 100,000, and people start speculating that. Sometimes that works better in our situation with the auction. But basically, we take it, we sort it, we photograph it, we catalog it, upload it to our website and different websites. I'm on Live Auctioneers, Invaluable, Auction Zip, and on a bidding platform that's on our own website. You register to bid. Everything starts at $10. There's no reserves, no guarantees, anything of that nature. Everything starts at $10, and people get interested, bidding. They bid generally we put it up online for about 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, where you bid like a eBay style, where you're putting a bid in and you can see the bid progressing. But when the sale goes live, like today, we go live at 11 a.m. 11 a.m., we open up the door. We do a webcast like this. I'm in front of a computer screen. We bring up item number one. Say the pre-bidding is up to $200. We open it up. 200, about 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 275, 300, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 375, now 400, about 4 1/4. Sold right over there to buyer number 231. And each item goes up that way. So we sell it live, and we have a component.
That's awesome.
We have a component with the live feed that it makes it feel like you're at the auction. You know, a lot of these different online sales these days, you're looking at a computer screen. Nobody's talking. It's just a number going up. We bring an element to it that we're bringing excitement in a show and talking about each item as we sell it. So that's the process, which is actually a big process. You know, we work on commission. My commission varies, but I'm generally 35%, maybe some cataloging fees and things of that nature. But there's a lot of work that's entailed there. When we put a
I was going
catalog,
to say, that's a ton of work, Joe.
oh yeah, no, it's a ton of work. So if you put a catalog together like that with my crew, it's a 2 to 3 week process. There's usually a week of research, a week of cataloging, a week of uploading. Then we have the sale, and then it's another week to 2 weeks of shipping, because we handle shipping too. So not only are we putting it out there that we're buying it and selling it, we are also shipping it. So I'm like a one-stop promotion, shipping department, advertising.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop, exactly.
Now, does the amount that you usually take away from that depend on the auction, or is it always kind of the same, or does it sometimes differ depending on what you're actually auctioning off?
Yeah, so my business is really vital because it's all on what I find in the house. It's all in the collection. We could have a sale that brings 10,000 for the whole sale, and it's like a bummer, or we could have a sale that brings 100, 200,000, and it's a payday for me. So it's a real gambling type of business. I mean, that's how I look at it. But you know, things bring what they're supposed to bring at the auction. So, you know, we also apply an estimate to everything, and generally it falls within estimate. Sometimes people go in this crazy bidding war. It brings 10 times of what we think it's going to bring. And sometimes we might estimate something at 200 to 300, and it brings $75, $100 because there was no interest that particular day. But dollar for dollar, we're getting about, I would say on average, we're doing better than wholesale, getting out to the collectors and getting a lot of retail participation. Every auction, I generally have about 1,000 to 1,500 viewers that are watching and bidding on sale day. And we have another 8,000 to 12,000 bidders that have registered for the sale and participating. So there's a lot of competition once you put it into that ring.
That's crazy.
Excellent. And how much did Mama's boiled skull bring?
It was priceless.
Do we actually
Hey, listen,
Reserve not met.
I sold an eyeball once before, so I mean, you know that.
Oh God,
that's that I found actually.
You're
in
the
a
psycho
funeral
theme.
home, if you can imagine that.
That's pretty awesome. That answers like 5 questions here that we've got on our feed for you.
So I had posted a thing where it was like, if anybody had any questions for you, they could leave a comment. Some of them, it could be boiled down to the same thing, but someone was curious, what was the best lot of comics that you had ever sold personally?
Wow. So I think there's 2 collections that come in mind. I mean, we had an Amazing Fantasy 15. I've had that comic book 3 times, where the first time ungraded, it was pretty beat. It brought, oh boy, I think it was 15,000, and then the next one we found in our house was 36,000, and there was one that we just sold recently that was extremely beat, and that still brought 20,000, 22,000. But what was interesting about that, over the course of 5 years, seeing what Amazing Fantasy 15 has almost come up in value like a stock market, like a ticker. I mean, you know, it was like every year it kind of put on another $2,000 or $3,000 in the overall when you're looking at the prices going forward. But the best comic collection I ever found, and this was probably one of the first collections I've ever sold as like a large collection, was about 15 years ago. I was doing a house contents up in Chester. And I remember I went in the house, we're taking the house contents. The house contents was like 10 to 20,000, I told them. And they were all cool. We're there picking it up. So up in the attic, we get 2 long boxes of comics, right? Bring them down, and we sit on the floor. And my one guy who I eventually trained to be an auctioneer. At that time, he was just carrying stuff for me. But Tommy Superman Graves, which you might remember, he was on the show auctioneering at one of the sales. Very enthusiastic guy. Knows everything about every comic. Will tell you every single story about every comic in there. And we're carrying these 2 boxes down. We start bringing them out. We're looking. And he's like, "What? first appearance Superman, Batman, blah, 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 blah. First appearance of this one, first appearance of that one. I was like, oh, okay, great. It was all golden age action comics, Batman, Superman, 12 centers, beautiful stuff. I knew nothing about it. I didn't even bring in an expert at that time. I knew nothing about it. So we photograph it. We put it up on in different publications that deal with antiques and collectibles. And the right buyers come that participate at the auction. And the 2 long boxes of comics, we sell almost every comic individually. And it brought $175,000 for 2 long boxes of comics. And things were bringing $5,000, $8,000, $3,000, $6,000, $5,000. And who knows? I might have gave something away that day. But still, it was a phenomenal find, in my opinion. That opened my eyes to like, wow, there's some fucking serious value here in comic books. You know, I never even thought that would be the case. And it blew me away. The guy was ecstatic. I made a great commission and everybody was happy. And I'm sure people who bought it probably got good deals and they went off and made money at that point. But now, you know, as we're putting stuff online, it's just opening the door to much more collectors participating versus when we were just live back then. So,
wow. That's amazing. I'm just sitting here thinking like for what these things will go for. And I'm like, I can make such a good movie with that.
You might have a collaboration coming.
I'm like, I could do so much cool shit. Someone had asked also, will you assess pieces for insurance purposes? Or is that something?
That's something I don't really do, because if you're going to do something for insurance purposes, you really need to have an USPAP certified appraisal in order for an insurance company, or if somebody was to take you to court or something like that, you really need that certification of an USPAP certification. And an USPAP certification I used to have, but it had a lot of continuing education. I didn't do enough written appraisals to do such a thing. We will give an evaluation prior to the auction, but a lot of times that gets tricky too. So a lot of people will contact me and say, hey, what do you think this is going to bring? What do you think that's going to bring? And I go, listen, it's really hard until we get your collection into our possession and we fully go through it, because you know how it is. You can open up a comic and they took a cutout and the cutout's missing, or a corner is just a little bent, or whatever. There's so many factors there that will make a variation of a comic worth money. That I have a tendency not to give a full-blown high-end evaluation over, like I say, an email or something. But for insurance purposes, you want to look for somebody that's USPAP certified in order for it to actually be for an insurance company to use, because that's going to be the real situation there. Anybody could write an appraisal, but it needs to be USPAP certified.
Awesome. I think this is probably like one more question from the audience.
Yeah, we know you got to leave soon, Joe. You got time for one more?
Yeah, I got one more. Exactly.
Cool.
All right. Simple, effective. Who got you into comics?
Wow. So, you know, it's funny. I'm more into the auction business and the auction profession. But as a kid, see, I'm not a superhero kind of guy. I do love Batman. Don't get me wrong. Batman's probably my favorite comic out there. But I'm more into the Batman of watching the movie with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. I mean, that's my kind of Batman. However, I'm a big Garfield fan, and Snoopy, Peanuts, Hanna-Barbera. That's my Looney Tunes. I have a collection of production.
Speaking my language.
Like yeah, so that's my kind of thing. So I have a lot of production cells of Looney Tunes, Sylvester and Tweety, and things of that nature in my collection. And I just loved Heathcliff and Garfield and Snoopy and the Peanuts. I love Snoopy. I mean, the whole Peanuts gang, Charlie Brown, everything is my kind of thing. So, you know, Darren always makes fun of me, you know, oh, you like those girly type of comics.
What?
Yeah, what?
I'm like, no, man, I'm just not a
He
superhero.
can mind his own business.
Well, Darren, you and I are going to have a little chat, buddy.
Oh, yeah, they always make fun of me for that. But you know, it's cool. Actually, I actually have in January coming up next year, we have an original comic art collection. There was about 500 pieces of comic art, and 3 of the pieces are Heathcliff. So I was like, oh, finally something I really like that I actually might bid on for myself in comic art. But I have 3 pieces of Heathcliff comic art, original comic art coming up.
Heathcliff, he and Marmaduke just, and he's like a low rent version of Garfield. I'm sorry.
I agree, but he was still funny. You know, he always got Sonya. So I mean, he was always in a fight for Sonya.
All right, there you go. And I'm sorry, but I'm also that guy who always thought that Woody Woodpecker was like a crap version of Bugs Bunny. So
yeah, well, Woody Woodpecker's good too.
Yeah, well, Woody started crap. Woody was the instigator, which kind of pissed me off.
But he had me at Hanna-Barbera.
Hey, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera is the best. I mean, listen, we just had a large collection of Cell 3 months ago, and we had a Hanna-Barbera where it was the Flintstones versus the Jetsons concept art that they were playing baseball, and it was so fucking cool. And I underbid it and I didn't buy it. And the only reason I didn't buy it is because it didn't have color in it. I'm more like, when it comes to production cells and stuff, I like the color in it.
When they have the paint on the back of the cell.
Yeah, exactly. So this was more of a black and white concept drawing, but it was beautiful. It brought $1,000 or $1,100, which was enough money. But that Hanna-Barbera era is great.
That's awesome. Oh man, thank you so much, Joe. This was amazing to sit in and have your knowledge on auctions and even nerd out on some things. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
No problem. Thank you. Make sure you check out the comic book sale. It is not next week, but the week after, September 14th. Check it up online. Bodnarsauctions.com. So BODNARS auction.com. Check it out. Bidding's online now, and maybe I'll come back next month and we could discuss what the stuff sold for.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds great.
All right, Joe. Thanks so much.
Wonderful.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Wow, Ryan Carey Ware said that his wife just bought 100-ish Golden Age Looney Tunes comics last year.
Golden Age Looney Tunes comics?
Wow.
I didn't even know such a thing existed.
Yeah, well, actually, it was Dell Comics, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's possible. Awesome.
Dell Comics?
Nice. Dell Comics. Dell was IDW before IDW was IDW.
Dell that's
Comics.
Cool.
Dell Comics was they would do the.
Oh my gosh! Here they are. Look at that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's amazing, right? They were.
They were IDW before IDW.
Yeah, they were. They were. I'm blanking on the word. God damn it! I hate when that happens, folks. But they would do
the OG.
I'm trying to think of names.
Got
think
this.
of words, and it might just be the word of the day too. So
my God!
I know if you say the word of the day, folks,
scream real loud.
It was they were. Oh God. They would just get the rights. They would get the rights to existing properties, which is I'm blanking on the fucking name because COVID brain. Thank you so much, folks. Thanks, Christopher
Licensing?
McDonald. Licensed, yes, licensed properties. That's what they did. God damn it! I'm gonna kick myself in the ass all day. Licensed properties. God damn it! So licensing, folks. Licensing is the name of the game. Yeah. No, they were licensing. They. Well up into the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
Well, actually not 70s, but well into the 60s. Oh my God! Listen. So yeah, they would. They did Dragnet and Get Smart and just stuff from like I said, the 60s. It was pretty damn cool. Yeah. Then Charlton came in and did the same thing with like Space 1999.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people are leaving in the comments, scream real loud. They said the word of the day.
There you go.
I love that, guys. Thank you for that.
Mecca hi, Mecca hi ni ho. Yes.
Oh man.
All hail John B.
All hail John B. Oh my God. You ever seen the live show that he did a couple of years ago? It was exclusively on HBO, but it was like semi-adult, a more adult.
No, it was before Pee-wee's Playhouse. That was before because Phil Hartman was in it.
That's right.
Yes.
There was the older one that predates Pee-wee's Playhouse, but it served as a basis for the show.
Yeah.
Then they
revived
it.
Give me the hands, Pee-wee. Give me the hands, because that's what John B wanted, the hands. So Phil Hartman was Captain Carl. Was it Captain Carl? Folks, if you remember this, he was an old fisherman. And
like a Popeye knockoff.
Sort of,
Yeah.
but he. God, Captain Carl?
I think it is Captain Carl.
Captain Carl, and he got screwed out of Pee-wee money. Poor Phil Hartman.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, that story, because I think they were friends.
Oh wow.
Because Pee-wee and
Paul
Paul Rubens.
He was on the show, wasn't he? For like a limited. No, he wasn't.
No, he never was.
But didn't he help write that movie, Big Adventure?
He was. Was he in Pee-wee's? He might have, because he collaborated with Paul Rubens a lot.
Damn.
So yeah, and that was pre Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
So yeah.
Phil
Hartman, Paul
Rubens.
Oh, there you are. See, wow. And I don't think he was in the movie.
I don't think so either. I'm not entirely sure, but I do watch that movie. Yes, he was. He was the reporter.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, that's right. Oh, he should have had a bigger role, but that was when he was first starting out.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love Phil Hartman.
I love that movie.
Me too.
That's one of my
Actually, we're gonna put that on today, honey. We're gonna watch a little Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Okay.
Jill's like, oh God.
Guess I'm spending most of my time over at the office today.
My
Did
wife
you guys
doesn't
not
get my
show?
sensibility.
Did you not show the kids Pee Wee's Playhouse growing up? Or
No,
was
but
that
I
one of
did-
the ones you avoided?
I did show. We showed them the Batman. We showed them the Tim Burton stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, we didn't give them Pee Wee's Playhouse. We didn't do. We didn't do Pee Wee's Big Adventure or Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Well, Pee Wee's
we
Big
could.
Adventure is like, it's a little bit of a leap from the show because it's arguably a little more terrifying than the
Not
show.
even really. I mean, there's not a lot of like. It left a lot to the imagination. Like Large Marge.
Oh, good,
Oh, I mean, come on.
good God.
Large Marge wasn't. You know.
That scared the ever-loving shit out of me as a kid. Oh, my God. I straight up flashback because it comes out of nowhere, Large Marge. So I'm sorry.
CJ Robles, thank you so much. That's I needed to
What?
I needed to know that. That's great. Phil Hartman was a graphic designer before he got on SNL and did a cover art for Jimi Hendrix's albums. You know what? I loved Phil Hartman. He was amazing. God bless him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
Large Marge, yeah, and that's
tell
right.
him Large Marge sent you.
Tell him Large Marge.
I'd rather not. We got one more thing to talk about before we wrap this up.
Let's do it.
All right. So the Orville. You watched it.
Yes, I did.
Tell me your thoughts, man.
My thoughts on the Orville. The Orville was the best Star Trek that wasn't Strange New Worlds. or
Best
Discovery.
Trek without Anson Mount in it.
Best Trek without Anson Mount. How about that?
Oh my God!
It was very, very true. Amazing show. The first season was a little too. They were trying to find their jokiness.
First season's like a bumpy road.
Yeah.
With some good patches, but like you could tell it's them really trying to find a groove
Right.
and not really doing that well.
No,
but then
they're-
the second season happens.
And it kicks you right in the balls. And it takes you to it takes you where no man has gone before. And it's stuff that, I mean, it does get a little preachy sometimes because as much as I admire and appreciate Seth MacFarlane, he gets a little preachy.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be argued that there are some episodes of old Trek that also do get a little bit preachy.
Oh, they get a lot preachy.
So-
Oh my God, they get so preachy. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying. And Gene Roddenberry also, you know, it's. But once you get past that, once you're like, well, if I can let them pushing an agenda just flow over me. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing.
It's just a thing.
Everybody's
And
pushing an agenda.
Some people might have more of an issue with it than others, but like it's just that's the commentary aspect of the show. It's like they're just trying to express an opinion on the matter, but without, I guess, having the framework of it being in space allows you to explore it in way different ways. Especially,
Of course.
I won't get too spoiler heavy, but there's a storyline involving one of the main characters' daughters.
Yes.
That is, it's an incredible storyline throughout the show. The way that they keep bringing it back up, but it also relates to the core themes of what that show believes in.
True, but there's also yes, there is, but that pendulum swings both ways, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't mean to be that graphic in the pendulum swings
it's
both
okay.
ways, but they do, and no matter what. Because when you argue for one thing, you're. I can't
It's
put
difficult.
it in. It's difficult to know what the right thing is, but when you try to impose your will on somebody else, that's when things get dicey.
But that's also one of the things that they even explore in those episodes.
I know,
It's
which is ballsy,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I loved about the Orville. And like I said, a great show,
Big time.
and it makes you think, and it makes you question your own, the bedrock on which your life is. And I can't say that for a shit ton of TV. You know, the bedrock on which you put your foundation, the foundation for your life.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm getting preachy, but, you know, I like to think that I'm evolved enough that I can change my mind.
Yes.
And there are certain things that they did that
It made you at least think about it.
And I considered both sides of the equation, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm glad
Because
I'm
that's
not in this
also-
situation.
Yeah, because that's also what I love about the show is that it does present both sides almost equally. Yes,
Yeah.
there is a favoritism towards one side.
There
and
is.
when you watch The Orville, you could definitely tell, but at least they present the alternate side where some shows will just ignore it completely.
Yeah, or
and
make them the evil ones.
Yeah.
And then they're not really evil. They're just set in their ways.
Exactly.
And that's sometimes you have to, once you're set in your ways, and I think we all get into that situation where you're like, all right, this is good enough, and this is where I'm drawing my line in the sand, and this is where I'm building my house.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works out for you, but sometimes, you know, the tide comes in and wrecks it for you. So try not to get.
Clerks 3,
I'm not, and we're gonna talk Clerks 3s. And yes, folks, Clerks 3. I'm sorry, The Orville, love it. Watch it. It's on HBO Max now.
I was
no, it's
like,
on
wait a
Disney
second.
Plus. I'm sorry, Disney Plus. I knew it's on one of the streaming services.
So watch it on Hulu and Disney Plus because I want this show to go to 4th season.
Yeah,
people.
you heard him.
Please, I need this show
It's
to go to 4th
amazing.
season.
It really is. Somebody said, "What about Galaxy Quest?" It's not a competition,
It's
folks.
not.
We're not a competition, folks. Galaxy Quest is amazing, but this is ongoing. That was a movie. This is ongoing, and it's like I said, the best Star Trek show without Anson Mount.
Yes.
So
I got a little surprise at the end of the show, but we'll talk about Clerks 3 for a second.
Clerks 3.
Let's do it.
The convenience tour kicks off
This Sunday.
this Sunday at
1:30?
1:30 at the Count Basie Theater.
And 7.
7 p.m. 7 p.m. is the one we're going to.
That's the same one I'm going
There
to.
you go.
I'm
Well, of
I'm
course
so
you
hyped to I'm hyped to see this with a crowd.
Yes.
I cannot wait. Like I'm with you. I saw a rough cut version of it a couple of months ago, and when I say you guys are in for a treat, you are in for a treat. It's a great time. And if you can't check out the movie during the convenience tour, you're in luck. Fathom Events is putting it on in typical theaters from the 13th to the 18th.
Yep.
You guys did amazing with ticket pre-sales that they were just like, we'll extend this a week. This was only supposed to be like 3 days.
It's amazing. It was supposed to, yeah. So they're like, hey, let's keep this going. They only to make it to put it out in perspective for you. Fathom Events does the riff tracks whenever they have a riff track thing, and it's usually just one night because it's like, hey, it's riff tracks.
Yeah.
But because of this, they're going to be doing different shows every night, I believe.
Yes.
I don't think it's just like wherever Kevin is that particular night, they'll be doing it live from there, and you'll get to see a Q&A. So if you go on 2 different nights, you're going to get 2 different Q&As, from what I understand.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not just, they film it once and they just keep showing it over.
Also, just be prepared if because that's the one thing I think people don't realize about these Kevin Smith tours is that if you got questions at the end of the movie, be prepared to sprint to that microphone because I will never forget seeing Reboot at the Paramount Theater in Asbury Park, and the minute Kevin said questions, half the audience disappeared.
Yeah, I know.
And and they wrapped around the theater. So
And we were like, yeah, this is going to go on till like
this is gonna go on for a while.
Tuesday. Yeah, and that was a Saturday.
And if
So-
you're at the end of the line, don't be mad. Like there's a chance that you might not get to.
And come on, Kevin doesn't just give like a one-word answer ever.
No.
So
then he might even answer your question before you get there.
yeah, exactly. Or he might not, and you're just gonna have to be satisfied with not knowing the answer.
Big time. I think that's it for Clerks 3. I think are both sold out at this point.
I pretty sure
7 sold out, I know, but I think
7 p.m. ish sold out. That's why
The
they had
last
to.
time I looked at the 1:30 show was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, and there were really just a handful of tickets.
Like 2 or 4 tickets left. So
Yeah.
let's put it this way. It's essentially sold out. But if you're in the Monmouth County area or you feel like driving to the Monmouth County area on Sunday,
roll through.
you can, just roll the dice and see. Go on to the count page. Actually, it's clerks3.movie.
Yeah.
Clerks3.movie. And
Clerks, the number 3, period, movie. If you Google that, it'll pull up the website, and you can just click on the count base, see the 1:30 show, and you'll be able to see if there are any tickets left there.
maybe. So
Well, no, you will be able to see if there are tickets left there.
maybe.
And there might be tickets.
Well, I mean, there might be blind people out there who are like, I can't see anything. So, but
Okay.
that's a problem.
I'm sorry, I have no reason. I was just sitting here reading comments, and I'm like, what are they talking about? I think that was another episode of Live from the Secret Stash.
Yeah, I think that was. So thanks so much for coming out and hanging with us
guys.
this morning. On behalf of Julia and Christian, I'm Mike Zapsik.
Hold
We
on.
love you.
Before we go, I do have one thing I want to share with you guys.
Again?
I do. I'm sorry. It's Orville related, I promise. But
Okay, all right.
So last week, someone had left a comment. It was kind of a joke where they were like, "Hey, Christian should do a song about the Orville."
Oh.
And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I did it.
Do I have, yeah,
I gave you a shout out.
Well, thank you. Put him on.
So
Okay, all right.
I was just like, you know what?
I want to hear this.
Orville, here you go. This is my track.
Is this gonna take
Orville
us
rap.
out?
It's gonna take us out.
Thank you for tuning in, folks.
Take care.
McFarlane, I would have never foreseen you making the best of our series of scenes. Feta, Picard, and Riker grace the screen. Roddenberry respect rhymes on the beat. Step aboard the hectic eclectic Orville, destination galactic. In a universe so ever expansive. Damn, the show budget must be expansive. Move from Fox to Hulu. Any K-Log could detect the intelligence in that move. You elevated every aspect of the show while honoring those who inspired you long ago. As said through the mouth of Mike Zapsik, best track without Anson Mount in it.